Greetings, crafty monkeys. I don't have a watch on, but I think I'm early. I do. I think I am at least 2 or 3 minutes early. But I thought I'd just let you all settle in, get your popcorn, get ready for our Friday afternoon chat. How the devil are you? I have to say, last week I was wearing a dress because it was baking hot, but now, of course, this is the UK, which means now it's freezing cold and raining. But never mind, we still have a smile in our hearts because we are Crafty Monkeys. I can see you coming in now, so hello, welcome to you here. Nice to have your company. We're going to be chatting. Now, this is a bit different this week because every Friday I do a live and I talk to a lovely guest. What we're going to be doing actually in the next coming weeks is going to be having some guests who are from the design world and from companies. Yes, we thought that would be interesting to have their take on what's happening in the industry at the moment, etc. So we're going to be branching out. It's not just going to be our lovely tutors, although they are gorgeous and we love talking to them, but we thought we would just have a few other people. But also as well, I am going to get some crafty monkeys in on the chat. I know, because I thought it would be really interesting for you if you were watching to see what our people who come on our classes actually think about crafty monkeys. Now that's a bit dangerous because anything could be said, but I'm hoping it will all be good stuff. So today we're going to start with a lovely lady. She's called Shanna. I'll have a look in a second if she's come through, and I'll let her in the door. And she's called Shanna. She is in America. I think she's in, as I remember, Buffalo, and she has come on so many classes with us, and she is an amazing lady, she has got lots of stuff going on in her life, and she always makes time for her sewing. It's really important to her. But do you know, when some people say to us, oh, time difference is not quite working out, I do understand it can be tough. We had a lady in New Zealand last week. It was 3 a.m. for her in the class. And she actually was in her dressing gown. She didn't care. At the end, she just put her stuff on camera and she was fine. But it was 3 a.m. for her. But Shanna comes to so many of our weekend morning classes, so it's very early for her as well. And quite often she'll stay the whole day. So she'll do the morning class and then she will do the afternoon class as well. So I thought, who better to bring on board than Shanna so she can talk to us about why she absolutely loves Crafty Monkeys, because she does. She once sent me a really very funny email and I was sat at my desk, and it started by sort of saying, you've ruined me, you've spoilt me, Crafty Monkeys, it's all your fault now. And I was like, oh, what have we done? And she basically said, because no other classes lived up to ours in her expectations. So I'm not saying that's the case. There are lots of wonderful online tutorials out there at the moment, and that's the great thing about the world that we're living in, with the Zooms and with the live Facebooks, etc. People are now online, reaching around the world, and there is some great stuff out there, some great stuff, and great tutors out there putting their content out. But for her, I think she'd been on a couple of classes that she hadn't enjoyed as much as she had ours. So she was writing to us from one of those classes, and it was very, very funny. So I'm going to see if she's there now. I'm going to put the specs on. Yes, there she is. View request. How seamless is that? I have to say, our experts are pretty rubbish at this. They're usually not there. Oh, I can't welcome them in. And here she is.
Hi.
I'm just going to put my camera up a little bit because I've just chopped my head off. There we are. Hey, Shanna, how are you?
I'm tired.
Oh, bless you. I know. I don't know if you just heard all that spiel that I was talking about.
I caught a little bit of it. Yeah.
I was saying that you always have a lot on, and yet you do give yourself your sewing time, but I know you are.
I do. I'm always doing like 40 things at once. My favorite D&D streaming group, they're finishing a campaign, and so I'm like, ah. So I know that's like over a lot of people's heads, but
yeah. But you're here, and you made it. So that's good. That's fantastic. And what you're here with as well, we've got to say, is that most amazing fabric collection behind your head.
Yeah,
yeah. Look at that. Because whenever you do a class, Shanna, we always say, I think you need to buy some more fabric. I think you're running out there.
This is like a lifetime of birthday and Christmas presents and gifts and stuff like that, and allowance, you know. And then I also have a shoe cubbies over here with all my fat quarters and, you know,
Yeah.
bins with all my scraps by color.
Yeah. How long have you been sewing then? By the way, I must just say, look, there's a monkey in the background, just in case. Can I just tell you that this is my bedroom actually? And the other night I woke up and I saw him, and as last time I knew, he was leaning backwards over the thing, and I think my husband must have just sat him up, and I woke up and saw this figure in the corner. But yeah, that is the monkey. I thought I'd just leave him there. So you've got fabric, I've got a monkey. It's appropriate. So Shanna, how long have you been sewing?
I started hand sewing when I was about 5 because my brother would take all the clothes off my Barbie dolls, and so I needed a way to sew the clothes onto the Barbie dolls so they would not be naked. And then I would sew like little Barbie doll clothes and hair ribbons for like you know, all my dolls and everything like that. And but then like the first time I used the machine, I sewed a dress for my father's funeral, and I really just wanted to try it out. And I was 15, and I wanted to use my mom's machine, and I sewed a dress for my dad's funeral and little hair ribbons for my dolls, and you know, brought them to the funeral. And that's when I started doing garment sewing and did a lot of costuming. My mom was always making costumes for my brothers. I have 3 younger brothers, so a lot of Power Ranger costumes. She needed extra hands, so. And then about 10 years ago, I got meningitis, and I couldn't work anymore. So, and my brain changed from all the fevers and everything like that, and all those quilting magazines that I had just collected. People had given me their old magazines and everything. I said, someday I'm going to learn to quilt. Someday I'm going to learn to quilt. And suddenly I was, you know, bedridden, and I had all this time to look at these magazines, and I decided I was going to make a baby quilt for my friend who was having twins. And that's how I started with quilting. And they were small and basic, and but I was really proud of them, and the boys loved them. And then things got a little bit, I ended up losing triplets, and so I made some memorial blankets for them, and then I couldn't work. My husband went, he was in grad school at the time. He went and got a full-time job and said, hey, stay home. Got pregnant with my daughter, and ended up on bed rest. So I just spent most of her babyhood and childhood, you know, watching people's kids and quilting, and, you know, learning all these different skills that I could, you know, get my hands on. But there was always this like list, you know, the list, people have a bucket list. I have a sewing bucket list. Yeah. And, you know, I want to learn how to do this and that and whatever. And one of the things that was like really attractive about Crafty Monkeys was, oh, they're offering classes from things that are on my list. But it was still intimidating. Like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. And then I saw a post by Janet Claire. That's when I first heard about Crafty Monkeys. And I him and hawed forever about her taking her class, because I always wanted to learn how to write using my sewing machine. Because I was like, I don't have a fancy sewing machine. I have, you know, one of those Super Club $100 sewing machine specials. And I was like, I want to learn how to write and, you know, be more spontaneous. You know, I come from a very analytical way of thinking. And so quilting at first it was all squares, triangles, perfect, find that, you know, perfect corner, you know, the elusive quarter foot seam. And then I see this post by Janet Claire, and I was like, oh my God, she's like that English country lady, you know, like.
She swears like a trooper, let me tell you that.
Oh, she's amazing. And I was like, wait, like, so I'm going to be able to like see her, and she'll see me, and we'll converse and talk, and like she's gonna see my I was a little intimidated at first. I was like, she in my mind she was like way up here, and that was what was really cool, because that's like, you know, my husband's like, do it, like do this class, you know.
He's a keeper.
Yeah. I was, and again, last year I was home. I got COVID really early here in the US. I got it in March last year, and it couldn't work. And, you know, it's just, I ended up having lots of health issues because of it last year. And I ended up leaving my job again. And I was just like, I need more to do. I have a son who takes a lot of my energy, and, you know, he's special. He has some needs. And I was like, there just was no outlet for me. And my husband was like, you got to do it. You've always wanted to do this. Take this class. And that was my first drug, my first hit of the CraftyMonkies drug. You know, shot it right up. No, I'm just kidding. And she was amazing. It was so obtainable. Like, and there was I'm kind of used to when I go to crafting, you know, classes and stuff like that. There's a little, and I don't know if this is just in the US, but there's just a little bit of superiority that I run into. You know, I look really young in the groups, and I always end up in groups with people way, way older than me. And so there's people are like, you are not doing things the right way. You know, the come out is the quilt police. And that's for, you know, I'm in my 40s, and it's like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. I want to learn and be creative. And that's one of the things that's really special about these classes is, in fact, Gary, in one of our classes, he said, this is the way that they say you should do it, but this is how I do it. And I was just like, he goes, there's no quilt police here. No. And I was just like, that is awesome, you know. And Lucy said the same thing in her hand sewing class. She goes, this is the way this is how I was taught. However, this is what I really do. Yeah, you know, because I'm human. I'm a human being, and I'm a crafting, and I'm going to be real with you. And, you know, it's just, I love that.
Well, I mean, going back to Janet Claire there, Shanna, and thank you so much, by the way, for saying all of those things. I think I have no questions left. No, I do.
I have a tendency to ramble. Sorry.
But going back to Janet Claire there, you know, that one thing she said to me was, you know, in the beginning, I mean, Janet has been, I know you look at our Instagram posts, and we've done a little bit. We did in the newsletter, she did a pause for thought, and she wrote about, you know, being part of a soul tribe and finding a soul sister and things like that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she has been, I've always been so grateful to all of my teachers, but they have said, but you kept us going, because I know Janet has been very honest, saying as a designer for Moda and everything just stopped, you know, with Corona. You know, it's been very difficult for her. So when I said to her, well, why don't we do this club thing? And then she was like, let's just do it, because it was a positive thing to do together. But I said, you know, will it work? You know, do you think people accept what I'm doing with CraftyMonkies? Because I'm not a sewist. You know, I'm not saying I have an episode. I'm a very creative person. You know, my daughter always had fancy dress costumes that were made very badly, but I always made them. I always wanted to be really, I didn't want to go to the shop and buy something. I wanted to make it for her. Mm-hmm. You know, my dad has always been creative. My mom used to sew Burberry Max for a living. Excuse me. And so I have always been around creative people. My husband is a graphic designer, and I am creative, but I don't know how to quilt. So I thought, you know, are people going to really sort of get into what I'm trying to do is bring a community together and bring all these people together who do know what they're doing. And she said, there's a great phrase of hers that she loves. I think she's got it on her apron. And that is that authenticity is magnetic. And if you are yourself, it's magnetic. And a lot of these kind of, you know, spiritual gurus and people are out there. I know your husband is a pastor, and I'm sure he says the same thing. If you have this, you know, inner knowing, and you know who you are, and you are just true to yourself, it's that authenticity. And, you know, that's something that I'm learning you know, even in the last few weeks, it's become more to your true self, and it's very true. So I think, you know, I do believe in what we do, and I do believe in our tutors, and I do believe in our students, and I do believe in the classes and the joy that it brings to people, and that's what's growing and happening, and people like you are coming along, and it's just always amazes me. It's like when you first turned up, Shanna, and you came to so many classes all the way from America, which are time zones, you know. I mean, I remind you, our Saturday afternoons are okay for you because yeah, it's kind of 11 o'clock for you, isn't it? Eastern time is 5 hours behind us, so that's okay. But yeah, it always amazes me when we get the Americans in, and, you know, lovely Sweeter who's in India, you know, it's always like 2 o'clock in the morning for her. But, you know, we do, and the Europeans, and we've started to get, like, we had a lady from Barbados last week. We've got someone in Hawaii. You know,
that was fun.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you were there.
I was.
Even when you're not there, I'll just talk to you. Shanna, are you enjoying yourself? Oh, she's not listening at the moment. Yeah, because I just always think you're in every class.
That's funny. I will, and there we've hit some, you know, soccer schedules.
Yeah.
We have 6 weeks.
Yeah,
of
you
soccer.
turned up last week in the car. I opened your Zoom window and you were in the car.
Well, we were finishing up soccer, and the game ended right when. So I took my son to the car, and I was like, you know, the game's about to end. We'll get settled. I'll turn it on.
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't even notice that I'm in the car.
I did. Of course I noticed. But we did have another lady actually in California, and this was hilarious. It was very early on in Crafty Monkeys, and she was one of our first Americans as well. And she started in the car, but she was actually driving. So I could see she had the thing, and she was just listening. And I said to her, "Are you driving?" And she said, "Yeah, I've got lots of jobs to do today." Well, we went to the grocery store with her. We went to the bike store with her. I saw her collecting her bike. I mean, she just literally had her phone for 3 hours.
I actually did one of the classes while I was in the hospital, and I turned the camera off, but I was actually in the hospital. It was last, November, December. I spent, weeks in the hospital. So I was just like, I signed up for this class and I totally want to learn this. I'll just take notes,
Yeah. Bless you.
Yeah. So that you could just turn off your little, there has been a morning or two. I come in and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, I'm going to look pretty raw here. And, turn it on, and you start the introductions, and I'm making my tea back here, and
yeah, exactly.
set up my tea IV.
Yeah, we had Arzina. She's another regular as well, and she wanted to do Nicholas's class, but she knew that she was going to be, having to take some time out, and she said, "I don't know what to do." I said, "Well, you can keep your camera off," and she did. She turned up, and she kept the camera off the whole time. So you can. This is what I always say is, like you had that fear of joining in with Janet. If you actually just want to sit and watch. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to do any sewing, and you can turn your camera off and sound off, and we will never hear from you. We will see your name on screen, and if people even change their names. You can just have iPad if you don't even want to be known. So, and we'll of course we'll ask you how you are. Hey, iPad, are you doing okay? Are you sewing along with us? But
actually, you caught me during the Warholian cabbages last week. And I had my camera off, and I was like, I was over here changing. And then you go, Shanna, and I'm like, oh, hurry up.
Hurry up. That was a great.
And my camera's not on, is it?
Yeah.
No.
So you talked there about, you said about.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's what?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we're both sort of freezing there. So you talked a bit there about Crafty Monkeys, and you loved it. Obviously, you got a chance to work with Jana. I mean, that is a nice. We had a lady in California who was just beyond herself because she was able to show Nicholas Ball her quilting wall, and he was showing her his quilting wall.
Yes.
And she said, "I could never have done this in a million years." She said, "I love this." So I know that you obviously wanted to work with Janet, and the sewing was very important to you, and you said there that in our classes it is just so friendly, and there's no wrong and right, and there's no quilt police. What else do you like about the Crafty Monkey experience? I mean, first of all, do you think it's you see, I'm asking this question, and you might turn around and go, "Well, it could be doing a little cheaper," but is it value for money? Do you sort of walk out?
Oh yeah, I mean, for me, it's expensive for us to eat out. So for me, it's like one eat out meal for. Well, I'm sorry, our family and my son is starting to eat real food. So, but it's not. It doesn't even cost the same as going out to eat out. And the cost compared to my local quilt shop is, I could take 2 Crafty Monkeys classes for what, and you got my letter on how I felt about that. So
Yeah.
I tried a few other online things. There's the cool thing is, I bought Nicholas's book. Another class I took was Joe, June, and May.
Yes.
And yes, I took her
the FPP.
Yes, I took her paper piecing class. I have her book, and I love the book. There's just sometimes a disconnect in my brain where I'm like,
yeah,
I love these books, but I need to see what you mean. And I remember, wow, her name is just the paper piecing.
Ingrid,
thank you. I remember her doing like step by step, and I've been doing paper piecing for a long time, and I can get in there, but sometimes my stuff doesn't get as complicated. But I really want to get into some of these really, specialized things. I want to make pillow stuff for my kids and decorate our house and so on and so forth. And I just remember saying, okay, look, this is how, if you do this, this is what it's going to look like. And she showed how, if you don't reverse the pattern,
yes,
you're going to end up it's going to look really odd.
Yeah.
And I or I don't remember, I forget a lot about stripes and, one-way patterns or even plaids or stuff. Like, you just sort of put it on there. And I just remember saying, line it up here. And let's see where, in fact, let's see. I was like, where did I put it? I dropped it. Of course I dropped it. Oh, nope, here it is. Okay, so yeah, I was doing her class. Get some, and so you could see where, like, my roller skates are lined up.
Yes.
And that's not one piece of fabric. That is 2 pieces of fabric. And she was, when she was talking about lining up, I was like, oh my goodness, that's brilliant. Like, I can make this look like, this looks cool now. I mean, it would have looked cool if I used a different fabric, but I was just so excited by those little tips and tricks, and just in the doing together, and same thing, Nicholas does that in a lot of his classes, and people ask questions and he doesn't make you feel like an idiot. Like,
no. And I'm sure nobody would mind me saying this, because I know people get distracted because they are doing what he's doing when he's doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing with the classes. There's always plenty of time so that you can catch up, and the teacher will say, just take your time, whatever. But I know that sometimes he will demonstrate something, and then literally in the chat box somebody will say, could Nicholas just show us the blah blah what's it? And I think, isn't he just doing that right now? So then I'll say, Nicholas, could you just, do the blah, blah, what's it? And he'll go, yes, absolutely no problem. And he'll do it. And I'll think, oh, that's what he just did. But it doesn't matter. He never just goes, I've just done that, or whatever, like none of our tutors do. They just, because they appreciate people get distracted, or people, weren't quite listening because they were,
I have an example. I'll show you. Hold on.
Okay.
I have a lot of Crafty Monkey examples around here.
While we're doing that, let me just have a look at who's come in. Who's here? Let's have a look at who's here. Hey, Matthew. I did a great session today with Matthew. He's a friend of mine.
Here.
Matthew's here. We were brainstorming as to what we can do with Crafty Monkeys. He's a lovely, lovely man. Carolyn and Sharon and Curly and Mama and Jan and Rosalind. Rufus. Hey, Rufus, baby. Rufus is actually Ruthie. So, hey, Ruthie, baby. Loving Lisa. Hey, Sarah Payne. Yes. Now, can I just go back to something you said at the beginning? Because I was just thinking of what I was going to say. And then I realized, what was the D&D reference? Because Sarah Payne said Rachel won't get it. She's right. I guess it's a sewing thing.
No, D&D is Dungeons and Dragons. It's a dice role-playing game.
Oh, okay. So, well, she knows I wouldn't get that either, because I'm not, I'm not into that either. Okay.
Yeah, okay. In fact, I was thinking that letter I sent you. I told you about the Matt Mercer effect, how he's like this great DM, and he kind of ruins it for a lot of other DMs because everybody expects the voices and all that. And anyways, that's the example I used in my letter, I think.
Okay,
and,
yeah, you did. You talked about Dungeons and Dragons because you were on one. You were absolutely on one. And I was like, what is this lady talking about? And then at the end, I got to the bit where you were saying, so basically, you're amazing. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, I had to I give you this example, and I'm a nerdy kind of person, so. It's all with dice. It's a dice game. We do a D&D game here at our house. So, going to be making costumes soon. We should have a class on CraftyMonkies about making costumes. Anyways.
We should. Let's do it.
So, this is what I did in the class with,
yes.
and I just was not getting it. My circles were not circle.
Yeah.
And, then... I mean, these are much more, they're smaller too. I was trying to get a smaller circle, and these are much more circular. These are my cabbages that are going to be broken up. But that was really cool because I think I took almost all of Nicholas's classes except the triangle one. And so like each one built on each other,
Yes.
And that was really cool. Taking the hand sewing class from Lucy was phenomenal. I have been wanting to learn to hand sew, and there's just this, like I said, there was this disconnect. And I know Lucy, like I found Lucy back right from the beginning when I started quilting. So 10 years ago, I started following her blogging because I used to blog. And so again, in my mind, she's this incredible powerhouse, but then you're in class with her and she's like, this great person you've just met at the coffee shop. Like,
yeah, Lucy is absolutely just
so down
adorable. And my goodness me, I mean, a lot of our tutors, it is full on teaching, but Lucy's, when I edit the classes to go on YouTube, I can't edit. It's like 3 hours of constant talking and teaching. She does not stop. I mean, it's like those classes are all 3 hours. So she is amazing. Talking about that, Shanna, what do you think about the video side of things? I mean, have you ever gone back? Because obviously, as a class member, you then get the link sent to you, and you can watch it for at least 30 days in our private area on YouTube. What do you think about that facility to be able to go back to the class? Is that kind of an added bonus for you?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And I've done, don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is. I've done Crafty for years.
Yeah.
And so I've done the video on demand thing, and but I really prefer the live thing. Yes. But to have the live thing paired up with the video on demand is amazing. Sue, I forgot her last name. Sue did the cathedral windows we did on my birthday. And
Sarah.
Is it Sarah?
Sarah Payne.
Why did I say Sue? Sarah. Okay. Yes. And
another lovely lady.
I'm so sorry if you're around or
she's watching.
Sorry. Anyways, I went back because she said something in the class that I totally didn't hear. And because I kept thinking, how am I going to, I want to replicate this, but I want to do it with smaller squares. I have piles of 5-inch squares and sorry, Sarah. I wanted to do with smaller squares or whatever, and she gave the ratio in the class and then showed a lot of different tricks and things like that. And I was just like, oh, why didn't I ever, I didn't catch it the first time around. And so I really enjoy that part. Like going back and watching that video again was worth it. I mean, it was worth it anyways, but
yeah, well, it was I mean, we're very, as you know, Shanna, because you've been in classes where someone has said, have you thought about doing a hand embroidery class? And then people weigh in and go, you could do it with and you did that. You were like, well, you could do this, and then we just literally put it in the calendar. So we're very responsive.
And then she got her hand all messed up.
And then she hurt her shoulder. But that's coming back. It's coming back in the autumn, so it is definitely going to happen. But yeah, but we are very, very responsive. So we do listen to what people want to
Oh yeah,
learn.
you got the calendar out right there. And,
I did. I got the calendar out and literally said, Sarah, when are you free? Which was great.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
I think we were in one of Nicholas's classes, and I remember saying, "Oh man, I really wish you would teach a class about how to make your vegetables." And you're like, "Actually," and he goes, "You can go ahead and say it."
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
think by the time we were done with the circle class, you already had half the cabbages filled. Like it just posted.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, it is. No, we're very responsive. We do listen to what people want to do. What about you were a Take 3 member, weren't you, Shanna? You were in the Take 3 club. Yes.
mm-hmm.
So what about have you joined the VIP yet or
I'm going to be joining for Janet's month. I mean,
yes, which is now.
Yeah, I'm joining for the month, and then hope to join for a year after. My allowance is at the end of the month.
Yeah, well, I know, and this is the thing. I appreciate some people haven't got paid or whatever, but I just wanted to point out with that, Shanna, that in terms of the VIP club, just in case people are now going, what is the VIP club? So Take 3 was the first year, and then because we changed the format and it wasn't 3 sewers anymore, we thought we can't call it Take 3 anymore, so we called it the VIP club. So it's continuing, but it is very different, and every month we have a different sewist who gives you a deep dive into a particular area. Janet this month is all about sketchbooking and putting colours together and textures together, etc. So yeah, she's doing that this month. But then the next month is Judith doing recyclable fabrics and making a bag and talking about how to quilt with denim. Then we've got Gary's doing some textile art. Sarah Payne, who was there, she's going to be doing some amazing blocks and a Victorian sort of mosaic and some free motion embroidery. So all sorts of things. So every month is different, and we want to really challenge people and kind of put them, outside the box. But just to say on that you can download the content now, which is great. So it's $14.99 for the month, and you can download and keep the content. There's also a webinar as well, so you get invited to the webinar with the tutor, so you can ask any questions about the footage that you've just watched and downloaded. But just to say that yes, the annual, you can join at any point because the club just keep going. You get 2 months for free when you join with the annual. So if people want to join in October, they will get, in effect, October, November for free, and then they'll get the rest of the year. And the same with the monthly. So if anybody did think, you know what, I'm not sure about Judith's bag, but I really want to do Janet Claire, you can just do Janet Claire. You can just join for the month. Then you just cancel your direct debit. You can ask us to cancel it. We can cancel it in a second like that, or you can just cancel it in your bank. But you can just join for the month and then come back in a few months later. So it's a very flexible option.
I like the focus on one artist because it was just so and you know what, I liked how it started out, but I like that it's evolved to one artist that you're focusing on for that month, because I often want more in depth of the one project that I had picked, or the one thing. And so instead of having, I have a lot of UFOs around here, like my armless, my poor armless bunny.
Oh,
the arms are over here too. My problem is I can't find the right buttons for the arms. Anyways, I have enough UFOs right now, but I want more skills. Like, I'm like, how do I make a knot to do the eyes? Like, things like that. I want more skills, but I love the idea of focusing on the one artist, the one central idea, the one project, and it is all inclusive into one focus for the month. And it's going to make,
and although it's 2 hours of video footage, it's a much deeper 2 hours than you would get in a class, because a class, you've got your 15 minutes of chat at the beginning, at the end, you've got show and tells, you've got a break, you've got people, right, we're going to do this bit now, stop, and you do your sewing. Whereas this is 2 hours of constant tuition from the tutor, and quite often, like you say, they're delving into different areas that they wouldn't have time for in a class. So yeah, it is a very, our social media lady Kerry said it's a deep dive into the creative process, and it really is. And I think it's quite different to a lot of other things out there. So that's why we've tried it. But so far, yeah, quite a few people have joined up, mostly annuals, which is amazing. People have just gone,
I'm
just
looking
going to give
forward
it
to it.
You know, and that shows them that people want to be challenged, and that's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, and I know you say you say that you're not a crafter, but it takes all types to make this community work. We need the cogs that put the foundations and the infrastructure into place. Yeah. And who have the ideas. I mean, and then you take that time to connect with creatives and get them on board and stuff like that. So, yeah. You know,
and I do enjoy the creative process. And when I watch you guys, I am able to comment on the colours and the patterns and the textures that come together. I mean, even Nicholas is starting to take the mickey out of me, because he said to me, you've actually been a secret quilter this whole time, haven't you, Rachel? Because you do know what you're talking about. He said, you put yourself down, but he said, even though you don't sit there making quilts, he said, you do know what. And I do, because I've been around, I've been in the quilting TV world for 5 years. And then, of course, now doing this for a year. So I do. And it is, yeah, I am getting used to the terms. So, yeah. Yeah,
just not D&D.
Yeah, just not D&D, because I Dungeons and Dragons. Now, what time is it, Shanna? Because I've got a class at 6 with Gary. What classes are you doing with us? Are you doing it this weekend, Shanna?
Not this week. I think my next class is the 26th. What? Yeah, I have a few weeks off. I'm actually. I have to overhaul my crafting area. That sounds funny. Crafting area. It's a little sliver in the back of my living room. So I have to move everything out and pull all the cords out. So I don't have enough cords to keep this sounds hysterical. I don't have enough cords to keep my iPad going for Crafty Monkey classes.
So we're making you overhaul your entire living room. I love it.
I am redoing this whole area here with all the cordage and redoing my cords.
Well, that's good.
See, people are agreeing. You're a total cog.
Oh, do you know what? The most beautiful little sparrow has just flown onto my roof there. He's just sat there. All these birds. Oh, there he goes. All these little birds keep. Every time I do a crafty month thing, they always turn up, these little birds.
It's because of me, Sparrow. Sparrow and flight.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So what time is it, Shanna?
It is about 12:30 p.m. afternoon.
Okay, so that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. The boy's in bed for his nap, and
well, that's good. That's
the husband's in bed for his nap.
Oh, well, not for me. But I'm going to be teaching this. Well, I'm not going to be teaching. I'm going to be doing this class with Gary Mills in 30 minutes, which is going to be lovely. So what else?
Oh, is that the one? Is that the one with the landscaping one with the flowers?
Summer Meadows. Yes.
Yes, that looks so.
Yeah.
That looks so awesome.
Yeah.
It really did.
And then next Wednesday with Gary is his very successful sketchbook session.
I'm in that. I am in.
Yes.
I signed up for the 3 for, and it's funny because I've been taking art since I was really tiny, taking art classes and then also, I used to be an artist, like a painter, that kind of artist, and so some of the stuff it's just funny how Gary translates it from that, it's like the adult coloring. That's what this class reminds me of. It's like adult coloring.
Yeah.
And he gives you your basics, and then he takes you up these little steps, and he slowly takes you up to the side of the mountain, and
and then he'd like that. He'd love hearing that.
Yeah, and then but it's also he translates that to how does this work with fabric,
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. He's just such a ball of fun.
Yeah, he is amazing. He's amazing. Well, his just for anybody, if anybody's thinking I've missed the boat there, do have a look. If you go to the website, it says workshops, and you've got sewing and quilting, and underneath you've got sketchbook, I think it's called. And if you look in there is actually a deal we've done, because some people did miss out, where you can get the first class in the video store, but we give you the link when you buy the ticket. So it's a ticket now that gives you the direct link for the class, so you can watch that immediately, and then you can attend next Wednesday and the next Wednesday, and that gives you a discount from buying all 3 classes. And that's what a lot of people did. They bought the triple whammy. But then obviously people who missed the first class were like, oh, I missed the first class. No, you can now watch the first class, get the next 2 classes, and still get that same discount. So that is available on the website right now. And that's been incredibly successful. In fact, I did a little testimonial video from it, of people just saying what a great night they'd had. I mean, I was just
it was fun. It was so much fun. And I pulled a bunch of fabric. I'm not gonna get up and show you right now. I pulled a bunch of fabrics from the watercolors I did, and I'm making a piece of art from what I learned in the class. And so that's, well, and I'm combining it with the skills I learned from other classes. So this has been I started last year, started taking classes, and this has been a fun. I have done so many things that I've always felt like I wasn't ready for. Like, I'm just not in a place to learn how to do hand sewing yet, you know? And Lucy's like, flop down into your living room chair and let's do it, you know? I'm not in a place, I'm not skilled enough to learn how to do improv, I thought. And I always thought that was for other people. And, you know, and it's been a fun year learning that these skills are attainable. These are not high level they don't have to be high level, and they're not hoity toity. You know what I mean? They're not.
Yeah.
These are the everyday person skills. These are.
Yeah, we had a chat a couple of weeks ago, and he said, look, I'm quite new to sewing. I've never quilted. I fancy having a go with the improv, but will the Warholian cabbages be too hard for me? Now, I actually wrote back to him and said, you know, you might be better booking onto the triangle class. It's 3 hours, not 4. The triangle is a little bit lower in a level as a starter, you know, And he totally ignored me and booked the Warholian cabbages. He obviously thought
that guy was fantastic.
And he was fantastic, wasn't he? Wearing the Golden Girls t-shirt. But he was absolutely fabulous. And that just showed you, you know, what a great teacher Nicholas is, but also it just showed you, you know, as you say, you just jump in. And what are you going to lose? What are you going to lose?
And you realize you have more skills in your toolbox than you know. I mean, that guy didn't know, he may not have known sewing as well or whatever, but look at how he put his house together. I mean, the colors were amazing. And
even his cat matched his walls. His cat was this beautiful grey with this dark blue wall.
Yeah,
it was
just
awful,
gorgeous.
So perfect.
But I mean, people have the skills. I think we've just been told for so long, unless you have the certification or that these things were advanced level skills. I mean, paper piecing. How many years have we been told that paper piecing is an advanced level thing? And you know, Ingrid was saying this is for I have beginners that I teach, and there were beginners in that class who learned the same. Okay, I did the wrong block.
You know, it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful, Shanna, to see Laura, who started as a beginner with Ingrid, and she really did not. She was asking so many questions because she'd never done it before, and she was like, "I know, I'm no mistake," and we're like, "No, don't ever say that in the class. Just keep asking the questions." We did the cupcake class on Saturday, so she's done 2 or 3 now with Ingrid. She did the cupcake. She finished it just about by the end of the class. It was all working together. You know, it was amazing. And I said, Laura, do you see how far you've come in these classes now? She said, yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. I've done it. You know, there were less panics. She was calm and she was able to do it. And I think that's one of the great joys for me. I've always loved seeing people grow and really, you know, blossom and get confidence. And that's one of the great things for me with the Crafty Monkeys classes is that people grow in confidence, you know, like you have.
Yes.
And it's lovely to see that progression, and it's such a good feeling. And it's great at the end of the class when we don't ask them, they just literally go, oh, here's my piece. Oh, that was such a great class. Thank you so much. I've learned so much, you know, and it's just so nice to see the joy in people's faces.
And there is something, see, my fear was that, oh, okay, now the pandemic is starting to, you know, people are getting vaccinated. The pandemic is starting to, you know, dial down. And I was like, I hope Crafty Monkeys keeps these classes going online because
forever.
I'm never going to be able to go over to the UK and sit down and take a class from Gary. And I mean, that would be a shame. You know, to this has just opened up a whole, I don't have access to these artists. There's a lot of people that I don't have access to as an American, even in the US. I don't have access to people who aren't around me. You know, I can't travel far and with small kids and stuff. And so this is so accessible. And I am getting access to some stellar people. I mean, and they're real human beings too. Like, there's no airs about these lovely teachers. Like,
and there's more to come. There are more teachers.
I'm so excited. I have more classes. I'm see once the end of June. Her last soccer game is on the 26th, and I have a class. So I'm like, sorry, not going to be at the last soccer game. I've got a class. I love you, honey.
Yeah, but, I mean, we're going to go. It's going to be. I think August. We're not running things in August. Obviously, the VIP will keep going, so we can keep people sewing with that. And what we're going to focus on in August is we really want to build up the YouTube community, and we're going to be putting a lot of free content onto YouTube. So we're asking people to subscribe and get ready for that. And we really want that to be a hub, a place where people will go. You know, if they're looking for how do I do a 1/4 inch seam, there'll be a 6-minute video on it. So it won't be free classes on there. There might be a free class occasionally. There is a free class at the moment with Gary on YouTube. But it's going to be, we're going to really build that content because we want it to be the place that people go. So, you know, it's going to take a long time to get those subscribers, but we're just going to keep plowing, and we're going to start in August. So August, we're not going to run classes, but we will have classes in July, and then we'll be back with a vengeance in September, because I've got the rest of the year planned out. Nicholas is in, Svetlana is in, you know, there's lots of great people who are in.
Is Sarah doing her embroidery class? You know,
Sarah is going to be doing her embroidery class. Yes, she's doing a Dresden class as well. She's doing hand embroidery. Yeah, so we've got a few classes booked with Sarah.
I'm waiting for this hand embroidery because I have tried to do hand embroidery on my own, and I just need that extra step.
Yeah,
I need that.
And there is an embroidery class coming up actually with Lucy Brennan. That's on the website right now. It's a hoop and it's got little leaves. I mean, it says autumn on it, but it's going to be in, I think it's in July. So there is a class right there on the website. So
we'll take a look.
Yeah, so that's
there's Sarah. She's there. Yes.
Is she there? Yes, I'm there. She says, I'm there. And she said, it's not advanced techniques. She said, it's not advanced techniques. It's basic teachers. I don't know what she means. I don't know what she means. Basic teachers. I don't know. Trudy Wood. Hey, Trudy, darling. She's cogs, not dogs. She obviously wrote some comment. Yes, we all need the dogs. She means cogs. And Rachel and Kerry did an amazing job. We all need the dogs. Rachel and Kerry, she called us dogs. Trudy, how rude. Oh, dear. I am a cog.
We need the cats, too.
Yeah, we need the cats and the dogs. Yeah, lots of people are watching. Thank you. So what else can we say? We've talked about the VIP club and why you liked the club. We've talked about the video connection. And of course, people can go and buy videos from the store so they can watch the classes of previous and not Nicholas Bowles classes, but you can watch the other ones. So that's a really great thing. We talked about how friendly it is, the teachers accessible. Of course, Crafty Monkeys will be continuing, you know, through all of this craziness. It's a great business model now, and it is wonderful to have people from around the world. So that's going to just keep going. So I think, Shanna, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you 2 more questions. So the question I always ask my experts, so I'm going to ask you, is about the dinner party. So if you had a dinner party with 3 guests, they can be passed on into another land, or they can be in this land. They can be artists, they can be regular people, they can just be whoever. Who would you have at your dinner party? I'd be there because I'm hosting.
Yes, you're hosting. Gary would be so much fun, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Have you had him for a dinner party?
No, because he lives like here and I live here, and that's about 8 hours. So no, however, we are arranging a lunch in London. Where I'm arranging a Crafty Monkey lunch in London. It's going to be a bit of a crazy, well, it's going to be a weekend actually. So Expect the social media to be interesting on that one. So yeah, I can't wait to meet
Oh,
you.
it's gonna be live. Oh, I'm gonna be at that lunch.
You can come. It's happening in August. I'll let you know. Knowing you, Shani, you'll fly over.
No,
So
no,
yeah.
I wish.
Maybe I'll just get the phone. Maybe I'll just get the phone and have you there. Like put the phone.
You know what? They have these clips. Just clip me to a chair.
Yeah.
And you could just broadcast me in.
That's a great idea. I'll just have you on the iPad and we'll just
just clip me right to the chair, and I'll have some food with me. You know, let me know what you guys are eating. I'll make up my food here and eat. Well,
so you're gonna have Gary at this dinner party. Okay, brilliant.
Wow. One of my besties, Richie, he would be there. Okay. And my other best friend, Jana.
So it's just all friends. It's all friends and Gary.
Yeah, well, because he's so, oh my goodness. He is, I want to bottle him up. Like, he is like awesome sauce.
Yeah, he is.
He's got so much energy and so much delight in him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. I'll have him at my party as well. So that's fine. Okay, so Gary's the winner. So the final question I will just ask you then, Shanna, is to just kind of, I mean, you've said it all anyway, but kind of for anybody who is sitting there now and they're on the verge, you know, should I have a look at the classes? Should I go to a class? I don't know. I'm really too experienced to do classes, or I haven't got enough experience to do a class, or whatever. Anybody who's on the verge, what would you say to them about Crafty Monkeys and the experience? How would you kind of summarize it, and what would you say to someone?
There is always something, because every day that we are in the world, we are always evolving, and we are always changing, and we are always growing, and we are never too old to have to go back and repeat the basics even. And sometimes you get rusty with some things, or there's new techniques. You know, we talk about the quilt police. There's always a chance that what you learned 10 years ago, like I did, or even 5 years ago, there's a better, easier, more confident way to do something. And it behooves you to look into it. You know, go onto the YouTube channel, look at the videos that are available, and you know, pay the $35-40 American.
Yeah, probably, because it's if you want to do a live class, it's £30, and I think we've kept the videos at £25. Yeah, the recorded videos in the shop. Yeah.
So take a chance. I mean, it's obtainable. Even on a tight budget like mine, it is obtainable. This isn't something that's insurmountable as far as financials go. Yeah. And, you know, so sign up, take a class, try one of the VIP months, you know, learn and take a risk, because you're never too experienced to, you know, like I said before, I've been doing, you know, foundation paper piecing forever, you know, in my mind, because I started out doing it right off the bat, and so I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to start out doing that when you just start quilting, allegedly, and so, but I still learned so much taking Ingrid's class. You know, there's no shame in still learning those things. You know. Yeah.
Oh, that is, do you know, that is so lovely, and I couldn't summarize that better. I might have to just clip that and put it into the homepage. This is what Shanna says. This is what Shanna says we should do. It's true. You are never, I think, in anything in life, you are never experienced enough in life to stop learning. Right into the end, right until you're 99 or whenever it is that you pop off. You know, you can always learn something from someone, from an experience. You know, you can change things up and change your thoughts and change your life. So yeah, I think, as you say, you just got to jump in. And it's not like we're saying it's £500 or you have to join for a year. You can just come for one class. And you know something, if you do the class and you think this is not for me, I'm not going to do it again, what have you lost? It is half a tank of petrol or gas, as they say in America. Although I've got no idea, the sparrow's back. I've got no idea how much gas is in America right now, but petrol is very expensive, let me tell you.
It's about $3, $3 a gallon.
I have no idea what it is.
That's
I think we work in litres,
pounds.
and it's probably £1.26 as a litre, I think. I don't know. Let's put it this way, Shannon. For me, I've got a very old German car. It's a BMW. It's a very old BMW. And it probably costs about, it's a 2-litre engine, and it probably costs about £80 to fill it.
It costs about 40, 50 pounds, or I mean, dollars to fill our tank, which is 15 gallons. So,
yeah, so
you know what? I'll do the math, and I'll send you a message.
People are sitting here right now going, what does this have to do with sewing? Nothing. Right,
Nothing.
I'm going to go now. I'm going to open the door for our lovely Gaza, because he'll be waiting now going, where is she? So I will go and get our Gary open class, Gary class open, and our lovely Crafty Monkeys. And Shanna, you've been an absolute, I was going to say a very English expression. You've been an absolute diamond geezer, you have. You probably go, what? No, you've been, you know, I will just say, you know, yesterday there was a particular moment. I wasn't having a great day, and then I got this email from this lady, and she just said she wanted to change her class with Nicholas. She wanted to change dates, and I did. It's not a problem. And she just said, you know, Rachel, I just want to say you are brilliant to work with. I can actually see you smiling as you wrote that email. And yep. You know, I thought, oh, that came in at just the best time. And I think your email did the same, Shanna, that, you know, you wrote that email, and I think I was probably having a tough day, and it was such a long email. It was so detailed, and it was so great, and it really did lift my spirits. And so thank you so much for coming on today, and of course thank you for coming on all the classes. And
you know, Nicholas would say you're absolutely brill.
Yes, that's what he says. You're absolutely brill. Yeah, he posted a picture today on his Instagram of his feet next to a pool, and he said no swimming trunks. So I don't know if he was going to do a bit of skinny dipping. I don't know.
See, these are all the delights that you can learn here at CraftyMonkies.
I don't think he was going to post any pictures of his skinny dipping, but anyway.
We're all.
But yeah, no, thank you thank you for taking the time today, and thank you for saying all the wonderful things you have, and for supporting.
Absolute truth.
Yeah, yeah, lovely. Well, I will see you for your next class
next Wednesday.
Yeah. A Wednesday.
Jan's like, what was that about?
Yeah.
We're crazy around here. Sorry, Jan.
No, we are crazy around here. Yeah, with the gas. Yeah. My daughter's always saying she'll go put some gas in the car, and I go, what, are we going to America? It's petrol. But she watches so much American TV that she comes out with these Americanisms.
Oh, I do the same thing. I watch so much British TV that I'll say something to my husband. He's like, what are you saying?
Yeah. Isn't it funny though, you know, the whole accent thing, because there's a lady called Rose in America. She's in New York, and she loves Svetlana. She's always on Svetlana's classes, and she's just a great person. You can see love flowing out of her. She's just lovely. And she was in a class with me once, and she just said, oh, can I just say that I love coming here just to hear your voices? And, you know, and I feel the same about the Americans. I could just listen to you all night. So it's really nice, though, that we're all, you know, talking with our own voices and listening.
We got into that with one of the intros in the class. We're all talking because there's a lovely lady from Long Island,
yes.
New York. And we were talking because her and I both. I'm in near Buffalo, New York, so just the range of accents across, you know, the U.S. and then you got the small little. Okay, to us, the small little UK country over here with this range of accents. We're like, yeah, you know, why does Nicholas not sound like Gary or sound like Rachel?
Yeah. And none of us, by the way, know the Queen. So just point that out, because people always go, do you know the Queen? Have you met the Queen?
I also do not know the Queen, and I also don't know Meghan. Like, I'm from the U.S., you know.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't know Meghan.
No.
Yeah, what was I going to say there about there was that amazing time that this lady was in Connecticut. No, she wasn't. She was in, oh, come on, what's the place?
Is it New Hampshire?
Yeah, it was up that way, but she was on the water. Cape Cod. She was in Cape Cod.
Okay.
And I said to her, I always wanted to visit there. I said, I bet you live on the watershed. Would you like to see? And so all the classmates put their sewing down and we're all like this. And she got her iPad and she literally walks out of her house. She stood in the garden and she said, there's the boatyard and there's it was so great. And for us, it was nighttime, but it was the middle of the day.
Rachel, your class starts in a few minutes. We gotta go.
I've got to go. Right. lovely lady. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody for watching and see you all again. Bye.